34 NBA scouts from 21 teams in the house today. The stars will be shining. Number 23 was picks against top 25 foes. BYU coming off a 2-point loss to then number 3 UConn on Saturday. They enter at 3-1. Wisconsin unblemished, controlled by the Badgers. Wisconsin dressed in the all-whites, BYU in the alternate black with that royal blue trim. 9 to shoot for Wisconsin. A 3 wide right, and the rebound out of bounds. It stays.
Pressure release foul for this Wisconsin offense.
Saunders, his first touch. Here's DeBonta, the freshman phenom, 21 of his 25 in the second half against UConn. Right, lob over the top. Keita in traffic, able to stick it.
Grown man catch, grown man finish from Keita, and boy, did they miss that in that UConn game.
One-on-one in the lane. Winter, offensive rebound, back to the well, and he drops it in.
And that's where Wisconsin can really hurt you. They have the 7th tallest roster in the nation, and Nolan Winter's footwork and that feathery touch, he just gets better every single season.
Averaging over 14 points, shooting 60% from the floor for the Badgers. Right, knifing, up and under, a miss, and Winter clears. From the top, trailing 3 is short. And the rebound, the BYU point guard, Robert Wright III, the transfer from Baylor. 2 minutes in. DeBonta walled up. Outside, Baker coming off a big game against the Huskies. Delivers the corner 3.
Dawson Baker is shooting 50% from 3 this season. The perfect role player complement to Richie Saunders and A.J. DeBonta.
The most veteran guy on this BYU team, over 40 career games with the Cougars. Boy, to catch and release 3, around and out, blocked well. It's a man's rebound, and he will earn a trip to the foul line. Dawson Baker, 8 of 15 on the season now from downtown.
That's about as clean of a look as you can get. And truly, that was a total breakdown defensively from Wisconsin. Austin Rapp got caught ball watching. That's what happens when you're trying to pay attention to the potential #1 pick in the NBA draft.
On the other end, Wisconsin, they don't miss their free throws. Since the beginning of last season, they are shooting 83% as a team. Easily the best mark in the country.
This young man at the free throw line, John Blackwell, he's shooting 87% from 3. Every time I watch Blackwell on film, I'm convinced. I think he's the most underappreciated combo guard in the country. Just awesome pace and tempo about his game. He's just never sped up.
He's top 7 in the Big Ten in scoring on the young year. DeBonta's 3 rattles off.
I would be worried defensively if I was Wisconsin. Way too rhythmic of a look for DeBonta. He can make that.
Austin Rapp hears it from the mostly BYU crowd here in Salt Lake City. We're at the Delta Center, home of the Utah Jazz.
The students travel. The BYU student section is here.
Wisconsin coach Greg Gard told us they'll put a whole plethora of guys on DeBonta throughout the 40 minutes. Deep in the timer, right, jitterbugging. Saunders, his 3 is money.
That was filthy from Rob Wright. You want to talk about handles. Man, and a good sign for BYU. Richie Saunders knocking down a 3 because he did not make a 3 in that UConn game, went 8 for 7.
Blackwell misses the rebuttal. Nice touch pass underneath, and Rapp can't finish. DeBonta bothering the shot. Wright struggling with his dribble, and a whistle and a foul called. It will be Wisconsin basketball. It's on Rob Wright III.
Because Arizona, the more they win, that's the best resume in the country. I think they should be number one in the country on Monday.
The Jazz CEO, you saw Danny Ainge sitting courtside. Wisconsin with the basketball, down by a bucket with 10 to shoot. They enter it into Winter. It stays with the Badgers. Knocked out of bounds by BYU.
That was a good hold and dig by the freshman, number 7 for BYU, Hadim Boop. 6'9", tough matchup, held his own.
Wisconsin leads the Big Ten in made threes on the young year. They've started 0 for 5 from distance and a missed runner from Boyd. Saunders knifing through, and he draws a foul. It's on Nick Boyd. It is his first personal foul.
So much conversation about A.J. Dibonsa, and rightfully so. But Dibonsa's so good that we forget how good Richie Saunders is, who's first team all Big 12 last season and the most improved player in the Big 12, and he's averaging a quiet 19 points a game.
And remember, Saunders went off against this Wisconsin team in the NCAA tournament. He had 25 points and 7 rebounds. 7 to shoot. Dibonsa may have been grazed on the 3. It barely nicks the rim. And rebound the Badgers. Wisconsin has it scored in 2.5 minutes. They've missed their last 6 shots. Pick and pop, the big fella from beyond the arc. That is flat, and the rebound to Maruss for BYU. Dibonsa draws a crowd. Extra pass. Wright gets a clean look. He delivers the 3.
That's the way they want to play. All set up by the hockey assist from Dibonsa and the extra kick by Saunders.
Transition defense, a huge point of emphasis for Wisconsin in this game. Blackwell muscling into the lane, and an offensive foul called on one of Wisconsin's top scorers at 19.5 per game. That is his first foul.
This is a good show of Dibonsa's IQ. He knows by drawing 2 or 3 defenders, he's going to have a kick opportunity. And the 2 guys that he could potentially kick to are both elite 3-point shooters.
And what can that do for Rob Wright's confidence early on? He's been struggling from 3, just 33% before that one.
Yeah, he shot 35% as a freshman last season. And you have to treat him like someone who's close to a 40% 3-point shooter. So defensively, that has to be, you got to have a hand up and close out immediately. But from a confidence standpoint for Rob Wright, it's more about confidence for BYU, because you want to talk about taking pressure off everybody else. And if Tyler Morris is starting to make threes too, look out.
Just his second of the year. He had started 1 for 8 on the season. BYU's on a 9-0 run over the last 2.5 minutes. They lead by 8, their largest of the game.
He's one of those elite role players for BYU. Shot 38% from 3 last season. So much is happening with BYU's dribble penetration, not to score, but to drive and kick.
The Badgers need a bucket. They've missed their last 7.
This is an interesting lineup for Wisconsin. Right? If turnover happens, but there's no Nick Boyd, there's no John Blackwell on the court right now. Who orchestrates the offense and who becomes the go-to scorer for Wisconsin? Something to pay attention to in these next couple minutes until one of those guys checks in.
That's their second turnover.
And Blackwell just checked in.
Badgers have been one of the best in the nation valuing the basketball. Just 9 turnovers per game through 4 contests. Dibonsa has Andrew Rohde on him, mid-post. See if he uses his length. Their turnaround, that is pretty.
You're so worried about the 3-point shooters for BYU that he didn't get a double team that time. There wasn't extra gap help.
25 against UConn, 21 in the second half. BYU's on an 11-0 run over the last 3.5 minutes, 11-0. Blackwell trying to end the drought. He can't, and the rebound, AJ.
But I like that play from Blackwell. He's so good at playing off of 2 feet. He'll make that.
Saunders, stop and start. He burrows, he misses. The tip in on the follow is there. Hadim Boop, the redshirt freshman from the Senegal, puts it through. Quick rise three, Carrington, buckets.
Transfer from Tulsa, who also played at Minnesota. Shooting 38% from three this season.
The tempo is increasing, the intensity is ratcheting up. BYU has a 9-point lead on a 13-3 run, and we have a foul on Rhodey. That is the third Wisconsin team foul.
Well, that's the dangerous thing about this Wisconsin team. We talked about the height, right? They're the 7th tallest team in the country per KenPom, and how great of a free throw shooting team they are, but they shoot a ton of threes. They shoot about 32 threes a game, and they don't turn the ball over. You're going to be in every single game you play when you have those kind of numbers.
Offensively, these two teams have been mirror images of one another on the young season. Outside, Russ lines up another three. That one is short. Long rebound, and it stays on this end. Next dead ball sends us to immediate timeout. A collision. 3-point shooting. BYU a blistering 4 of 7, 57%. Meanwhile, the Badgers just 1 for 7.
It's coming off the ball movement for BYU. They've got 5 assists on their 7 made field goals this afternoon.
Shot clock at 6. Russ down the lane, pitches it out, wild pass, and BYU with their 3rd turnover.
And that's not Russ's game. Got too deep, got stuck. What is it? You know, every coach from the 1950s will say, don't jump and pass it, James. I still used to do it back in the day. That's only because I was 5'10". I had to. I didn't have a choice.
And it just looks cool.
That's right.
You were an and one mixtape.
No, I was so far from that.
7 different BYU Cougars have scored, and it's been Carrington on this end, keeping the Badgers alive and well. That's his 2nd 3.
Great help on the baseline by Winter.
Saunders, 2nd thought 3, short, and Wisconsin cleans up the rebound with Blackwell on the trot. Driving kick, a good look. Winter, 5th Badger offensive rebound, their 3rd basket off of second chance points.
And he is just so good. One of the more underappreciated big men in college basketball. Took a huge leap in his game last season. Ton of work in the weight room.
One of several 7-footers on this Badgers team. Badgers are on an 8-0 run. BYU needs a basket, so they go to DiBonsa, and he heads to the line for a pair. That's the 2nd on Braden Carrington.
Not sure how you stop that. We saw this in the UConn game. Watch the big step. He covers all that ground, and you're worried about the shot, but he shows the pump fake. Such high IQ play from DiBonsa. I actually asked Coach Young about him before the game. And everybody's talking about DiBonsa, and we're going to continue to talk about him, and Coach Young's had to talk about him a lot. But I thought he gave him an incredible quote, which was, he's the smartest film watcher of any young player I've ever been around. And that speaks to DiBonsa's maturity, work ethic, and IQ. And we're talking about, you know, Coach Young's been around some of the best players in the country, particularly a guy like Devin Booker at the Suns. High praise from your head coach.
And DiBonsa's poured in 20 points twice already on the young season. Wisconsin 3 off the back rim, a miss from Rhodey. BYU by 6 with possession. They haven't made a field goal in 2.5 minutes. Right, spin move, step back, that is nice.
Now that's a guy that could be on the N1 mixtape. Rob Wright has got filthy hands.
That's 5 points. Winter, top 3. Rebound and around, loose ball picked up by DiBonsa. BYU pushing tempo, big steps and a foul on the floor. Team foul number 7 set Baylor freshman records in assists per game. Had a 13 assist performance, scored in double figures 22 times, and he's averaging almost 18 per game for the Cougars. DiBonsa at the line, the 1-and-1, and he'll get the back end. A look at the preseason All-Americans. How about this company? J.T. Toppin from the Big 12's Texas Tech. DiBonsa. Braden Smith, we know how good he is.
I think there's a really good chance at the end of the season you might see 2 players in the Big 12, additional players on that list if it's not DiBonsa. P.J. Haggerty of Kansas State, who just dropped 34 in Mississippi State. He was an All-American last season. There's Rob Wright lob.
Uzan at Houston. Wright here at BYU. You mentioned Haggerty. Missed 3
You
from
got to put Nick Boyd in that conversation, too. He's having a tremendous start to the season for Wisconsin. I mean, easily playing like one of the best point guards in the country. Taman Lipsey for Iowa State. There's a little bit of that full court press for BYU.
Boyd is on the bench with 2 fouls. Rapp goes coast to coast, but he can't connect. 4-on-2 break for the Cougars. Wright cycles it out. A symphony of signals from the head of the BYU bench and their coach, Kevin Young. BYU's on a mini 6-0 burst. DiBonsa, fall away. Headed back to the line where he is 4 for 4.
DiBonsa actually got that jumper, that foul jumper, because Rob Wright cut through. Rob Wright did a little shallow cut, which gave better spacing for BYU on the weak side and limited that gap help. So you can actually hear Coach Young scream that out to Rob Wright to do a shallow cut and cut through, and DiBonsa knows what to do with it.
2-shot foul. He has made his first 5 free throws here today, and he came in at 65%.
You just beat me to it. That's why you're a lot smarter and better than me. But he's averaging 20 a game and only shooting 65% from the free throw line. If DiBonsa is, it's not even have to be elite. If he's 75% from the free throw line, he's averaging 24, 25 points a game.
Blackwell on the block. 3 is blocked by DiBonsa. Ahead, Winter.
He's everywhere this afternoon.
Badgers with the interception. Blackwell goes to work. Foul. Wisconsin trying to end a 7-0 BYU run. Another scoring drought for the Badgers. They've missed their last 4 field goals.
I'm going to give you a little stat about A.J. DiBonsa. And he's got some work to do defensively from a help side standpoint, but in 4 games this season, opposing players are shooting just 15% from the field when being guarded by DiBonsa. That's 7th best in the country, according to Synergy Sports. That's pretty good.
That is insane.
Now, we talk about his offense all the time, and there are things that he absolutely needs to work on defensively. But in one-on-one ISO, when he's guarding you locked in, good luck.
Badgers shooting 84% from the stripe as a team in their first 4 games. That's 3rd best in the country.
You wonder if Wisconsin's going to try to use some of their offense to get DiBonsa in one-on-one post-up situation, where if they can get Winter switched on to DiBonsa and see if they can draw fouls. Nice pass.
Underneath, double pump in the finish from Diamande. The freshman from Paris, France, who redshirted last year at Wisconsin. Washington, I should say, rather. Change left in this first session. BYU nursing a 12-point lead. Blackwell pulls up short. DiBonsa the rebound. Stop and start. Wrenches a pass out to Baker. Diamande a 3, pops out.
BYU is getting really clean looks. We're talking a lot about what Wisconsin needs to do on the offensive end, but defensively, things do need to get fixed here.
Rob Wright picks up the foul. Wisconsin with the ball when we come back down.
It really works. And then you can see there's things you need to work on. He says, we just spent our whole time leading up to this game working on all those little things that could be corrected quickly after that UConn game.
Down to 7 on the shot clock. Back and forth. The dish underneath, and a foul on BYU. Jack Janicki is checked in for Wisconsin. And the foul is on Boop.
I love Janicki's his ability to go hezzy, cross, and can bounce a defender and put you on your heels. That was smooth.
Blackwell rises for a 3 and drills it.
Needed that. Needed that from the junior.
That's his first field goal in this first half.
He is shooting the leather off the ball this season. 50% from 3 in those first 4 games.
DeBonsa, he counters with a triple.
6'9", he shoots over 45% from the field off the bounce.
Pushes
pretty good stuff.
Pushes the lead back to a dozen for BYU. A foul on the interior.
There's Blackwell just off a little DHO. He's so good at getting balanced and getting his feet underneath him. Very smooth form. And that's DeBonsa in pick and roll at 6'9". And he is shooting a blistering 62% in pick and roll at 6'9".
Has handles, has length, has control. Badgers have missed a couple of free throws in this first half, very unlike Wisconsin.
He's going to go right over the top.
Elbow jumper, so smooth, so clutch. He's up to a dozen in this first half.
And the worry for Wisconsin is if you double, you've got 3 shooters on the perimeter.
Boop gambles for a steal. He has it. And a dunk. Timeout on the floor. The Delta Center is rocking, and BYU has their largest lead.
So you knew he was going right over to the top. You've got 3 shooters on the perimeter, all hands ready to receive and ready to shoot. How do you guard that?
You can't. Already has 12. 3 for 5 from the field. He's hit a 3, and he's 5 for 6 from the foul line. Boyd lays it in. He's played with 2 fouls. He's been on the bench for about 6 minutes of game time.
Oh my, no way.
Driving kick 3 is an air ball. A wrestling match for it, and a foul called. That'll be on Boop on the inside. It goes against BYU.
Well, Wisconsin really needed that downhill drive from Nick Boyd. That's something that he does exceptionally well, turning the corner, getting into the paint, finishing high above a defender. Good minutes from Nadim Boop there for BYU.
Picked up his 2nd foul, 8th team foul. Wisconsin at the line in the 1-and-1. See if they can claw back. If you're a Badgers fan, what's the ideal number at halftime that you're shooting for to get back in this thing?
I don't think you're thinking about it more in terms of the offense, because I really believe that Wisconsin's offense is so good, they have so many weapons that it'll start to click, especially on the road, neutral site, NBA arena. Shots are going to start to fall for them. Defensively, there needs to be way more on-ball pressure because BYU is far too comfortable moving it wherever they want.
It's a 12-point cushion for BYU. Baker slithers in, puts it home with the left. Back to a 14-point lead. Wisconsin has really missed Boyd. He's only played 7 minutes in this first half. He picked up 2 quick fouls. Carrington downhill, throws it up, and he draws a foul. Goes against Saunders. That is his 2nd.
So this is just a little pick and pop with Baker and DeBonsa, which is interesting because 2 possessions ago, they ran that same thing, and where DeBonsa just got a little bit more space, but now it was Baker. And that's where the gravity of DeBonsa comes into play. You're worried about him. BYU does a great job of a lot of times it looks like they're coming up the screen, and then it's just a go screen, and everybody who go screens is also a 3-point shooter. So you're kind of in this state of uncertainty. Do I stay out there? But if he catches it, then I'm giving up a gap drive. I mean, there's a reason why BYU's offense is the 6th most efficient offense in the country per KenPom.
They've won 32 straight when they score 90 or more, and it's been a lot. DiBonsa underneath. Keita tried to jam it. He will head to the line to shoot a pair.
Kevin Young sees something here between the two-man game of Dawson Baker and A.J. DiBonsa, is they're just doing either DHO, dribble handoff. So they're either just dribble handoff to where they're trying to get a switch for mismatch purposes, or they're trying to create uncertainty on the perimeter with DiBonsa.
First free throws of the half for somebody on BYU's team not named DiBonsa, and Keita can't hit. BYU leaving Richie Saunders out on the floor with those 2 fouls. Inside of 5 minutes before intermission. Boyd gets it around Keita.
He's just silky smooth. He glides to the rim as good as any scoring guard in the country.
Step back, corner 3, Saunders slides across the rim. Kept alive underneath. Blackwell claims it for the Badgers. It's down to a 10-point deficit for Wisconsin. Carrington's hit a couple of threes in this first half. Blackwell's yet to get on track, has just 1 field goal. Loses it. Winter back to Blackwell. Turnaround. That is tough.
Man. Bonsa's had an excellent first half here. You mentioned those 12 points and doing a really nice job of getting to the free throw line. 5 of 6 from the line in the first half.
Rapp connects. Makes it a 9-point BYU lead. I'm James Westling. He is Mike O'Donnell. Top 5 in career threes at UCF. Top 1 in charisma.
Is that true? Do we chart that? I don't have any charisma. You know, I'm like the most awkward person ever. I'm literally making this charisma talk awkward.
Awkward charisma. Charisma is life. It's an 8-point lead for BYU. Wisconsin knocks in both free throws. They're now 9 of 11 at the line. 2.5 to play in this first session. Right. Couldn't capitalize. Here comes Boyd. Carrington a 3. Short. A run out. Saunders ahead. Lays it in.
Rob Wright having vision in the front court to throw it ahead, identify a teammate. Saunders sprinting in transition.
Quick hands. Richie tries to throw it. Tested the NBA draft waters. Returned for his final season of eligibility and averaged 20 points per game down the stretch in the last 11 a season ago. And here he is, off the scuffle, bangs it through. He's up to 9.
And when the threes aren't falling, just like you said, James, he finds other ways to affect winning. Those offensive rebound putbacks affect winning.
Blackwood, that's a 1-2. And Keita claims it for BYU. Leading by a dozen. 90 seconds to play before the half. DiBonsa soars in, left it short. Rapp the Euro step, lost the handle. Carrington circles, high off the glass, a miss. The tip in, +1. Winter is here. Nolan Winter will head to the line. Trying to knife into this deficit, and that is the second foul on A.J. DiBonsa.
When every time Nolan Winter steps on the court, he's a threat for a double-double. He's almost averaging that this season. But he's always attacking the offensive glass. You could see him at the very top. No box out from BYU. You have to put a body on Winter.
He has 8 points and 7 rebounds. His dad was on that Minnesota team that made the Final Four back in 1997. inside of a minute to go here in this first half. BYU milking the clock. Double comes on DiBonsa, has to get rid of it. 5 to shoot. Diamande's 3. Rebound Saunders, and Saunders up to 11. Pushes the lead back to 12.
About a 3-second difference between shot clock and game clock. They'll probably take this to about 8 before they go. Here we go.
Blackwell burrows into the lane, and a foul called with 7.6 on the stadium clock. This will put John Blackwell at the line.
That's how the referees have to ref the game. That's how they're taught to ref. Even if it's not an intentional trip, that's going to get called.
8 points. A rare miss at the line. He came into this game 21 for 23 on the year.
They are emphatically, Wisconsin that is, are going to need Blackwell to be dominant in the second half. I mean, that's got to be his mindset for Wisconsin this season, and Greg Gard wants him to have that everyday disposition to dominate.
4 for 6 from the stripe. Already has a 30-point game earlier this year. He set a career high in their second contest against Northern Illinois. 11-point lead for BYU. Wright goes racing into the front court. Baker pirouetting, and he draws a foul. The spin, the collision, and the whistle, that's on Hayden Jones.
Learning opportunity for the freshman. Baker knew it, who's a senior. He grabbed that little pitch pass from Rob Wright in transition, and you just got downhill. You got to keep your hands up, and you cannot put your hand in the cookie jar. Baker's going to know how to draw that foul.
And Baker stays perfect on the year from the foul line. Xavier Staten checks in for the first time for BYU. Highly touted freshman. Played with DiBonsa in high school. Baker, his first miss of the year. And that sends us to BYU has won 19 of their last 20 games here at the Delta Center. Just a stone's throw over the top, bothered by Winter. And Wisconsin gets a stop on their first defensive possession.
Defended well by Wisconsin off that back screen from Saunders.
See if Blackwell can get on track in this second half. Draws a double team. Open 3 from the corner. It's down for Andrew Rohde. Just the 4th 3 of the game for the Badgers. Wright navigates, feathers it in.
The ball in the hands of Rob Wright are directly connected to his brain and his feet. It's on a string.
Burrowing down the lane. Foul called on BYU.
That's 3rd foul on Cato. Watch Blackwell on the baseline. Good help by Baker. Comes over quickly. Doesn't give up on it. Playing off of 2 feet and pivots. I love how Blackwell plays so well off of 2 feet. It evens out the athleticism. You got 6'4" versus 6'9" there. Blackwell 6'4", DiBonsa 6'9".
There are 4 BYU Cougars who have multiple fouls, including Saunders and DiBonsa, who each have a pair.
We got zone for BYU right now.
5 to shoot. Boyd, 3 offline. Rebound run down by the Badgers. Got
to see that for Wisconsin. More fight on the defensive end.
Badgers are 12-0 in the month of November over the last 2 seasons, tied with Oregon for the best mark in the country. That is an air ball from Rhodey. Possession, BYU.
Rhodey's a very capable three-point shooter. He shot 41% at Virginia last season, but he struggled a little bit this season to find his rhythm. Just 33% his first 4 games.
Baker powers it through. Lead is 13 for the Cougars. Wisconsin shooting just 21% from 3. They are 4 of 19 in this contest, and a foul on the baseline. It's called on DiBonsa, and that's going to be number 3 on the freshman phenom. Hard pass down low. Blackwell catches deep, miss. Had it bothered by Boop. Baker probing. DiBonsa, contact, offensive foul, and A.J. DiBonsa picks up number 4.
Wow. A huge foul called on the floor. And this is similar to what happened in the first half. There was actually a little bit less contact on that offensive foul than when Nick Boyd was called on a blocking foul in the first half. That extend that right arm, that's what the referees are looking for.
This game just got flipped on its head. DiBonsa on the bench with 4 fouls, pocket pass and a jam. Winter with the finish.
Wisconsin loves those empty side pick and roll actions.
Corner 3, Baker swirls it home.
How good has he been? 11 points in this game for Baker.
Boyd muscles it up and in. How did he do that?
Oh boy, we are trading rhythm and tempo buckets right now.
This feels like an NCAA tournament game. The sequel to last March in the second round. BYU won a thriller 91-89. Built a big lead. Badgers came storming back. Dawson Baker's had the hot hand for BYU. Double figures in 3 of his last 4. Wright loses the handle. Boyd 1-on-3 into traffic, and a foul called on BYU. It's against Baker. That is his 2nd foul.
Back-to-back elite possessions for Nick Boyd. Didn't play much in the first half due to foul trouble. Gets the steal and then draws the foul, and that previous possession had a beautiful finish.
A 3, halfway down but out. Skying in Diamande for the rebound. BYU's made their last 3 field goals. A miss from Wright. Tap out saves the possession. A dish.
Another dime in the paint from Rob Wright.
Boyd with the left. Off the window.
This is just so good. He's so good off the bounce. Strong, good tempo.
Diamande, that's not in his wheelhouse. He missed 3. Baker gets clotheslined, fouls on Boyd. That is his 3rd, as it sends us to a media timeout.
Has so much more fight on both ends of the floor. But something to pay attention to. We talked about DiBonsa with those 4 fouls. Nick Boyd has 3 fouls, and he's back on the bench.
Right, a head fake, pull up. Loose ball rebound. Look at the bodies. A jump ball. And it will be Badgers basketball. Wisconsin has made 23 more threes than their opponents this season. That is the 4th largest three-point shooting margin in the nation. But in this one, BYU has 6 triples to the Badgers 4. Some full court pressure from BYU. A trap on Blackwell, gets it through, extra pass, and Janicki lays it in.
Did 7-footer Nolan Winter just jump up and throw an under-the-arm pass in traffic? Are you kidding me?
The big man can deliver. Saunders a miss, and Winter, who else, there for the rebound.
Saunders is really upset with himself after that missed three.
Hard pass underneath. Fumbled around. Milauskis turns it over. 6th Badgers miscue. Right. Bug vision. And a block at the rim. No foul. Janicki a 3. It's down. And it's a 7-point game.
That's the way Wisconsin can play. Great rim protection there by Milauskis. And then immediately hunting for threes in transition.
Milauskis from Lithuania, a freshman, already 4 blocks on the season in limited action. Wisconsin has gone even bigger, the seventh tallest team in the nation. Whistle before the wedgie. You said it, Nolan Winter, Yark.
Nick Boyd checks back in for Wisconsin as well. A lot of trust with your senior guard with those 3 fouls.
He's been the spark plug for them offensively here in the second half. Has 8 points and the ball in his hands after Diamande splits the pair. Picking up full court, and Boyd draws a foul.
Yep. That's the right call.
It's on Diamande.
Boyd is that dangerous combination of strong and fast. And he's very good at baiting defenders to reach.
Started every game 2 years ago on that incredible run to the Final Four for Florida Atlantic. Missed banker from Carrington. Here comes BYU pushing tempo. Russ lines up a 3. Didn't get the bounce. Winter with his 10th rebound. He has another double-double on the young season. Janicki underneath, spinning. Winter tips in his own miss.
It's one of the other areas that he's really good. If he doesn't get it the first time, he just has this relentless pursuit around the rim. A little life here from the Badgers.
BYU led by 13 when A.J. DiBonsa got saddled with his 4th foul. He's been on the bench. Badgers have trimmed it to a 7-point deficit. Saunders trying to turn the corner, bothered by Milauskis. 2 blocks from the Lithuanian, but they'll get him with a foul. Oh, they're going to call it on Janicki reaching in.
It looked like a good block by Milauskis at the top. Sanders driving baseline. Milauskis lines him up perfectly. I didn't see that much there on Janicki. Beautiful pocket pass. And there's Winter just staying with it, using his length to his advantage.
Keba Keita at the line. 2-shot foul. Sinks the first one to push BYU's lead to 8. And it made a field goal in almost 3.5 minutes. And a Wisconsin line change. They bring in some fresh bodies. Will Garlock is checked in, another 7-footer. Freshman from Middleton, Wisconsin. He is still perfect on the season at the stripe. Coming into this one, he's 2 for 4 here today. Rhodey tries to split a double team. 7th Wisconsin turnover. Right with the hammers, and he draws a foul. It's on Garlock. That is the 4th foul for the Badgers in this half, and the 1st on the freshman.
You could tell there was intent on that BYU possession. to attack the freshman center, to go at him and see if he would make a mistake or reach. They got him once.
Rob Wright initiates the offense. Saunders double pump, slices through.
One of the biggest differences in his game from sophomore to junior was when he got into traffic his junior year last season, he ball faked, he shot faked. That was a good example there on that possession on the baseline.
Blackwell's counter no, and Keita rips it away. BYU has weathered the Wisconsin storm. Monday headed to the line.
Monday wanted that one.
Rimmed that lead down to 7, but BYU has responded.
So you get a weathering the storm conversation if you're BYU with DiBanza on the bench. And so far, so good, right? You mentioned Wisconsin's only slightly winning that battle, 13-11 in terms of points scored since he's been on the bench.
When do you think about bringing him back into the game?
I don't think it's a situation where you don't want to get to a situation where you have to. You want to get a situation to where, okay, we feel good right now. And I think if you can get to the 8-minute mark without bringing it back in, I think it's a huge win.
The supporting cast has played a huge role in this 6-0 run over the last 58 seconds. Most of it at the foul line.
Because as soon as he comes back in, you know what Wisconsin's going to do. They're going to be hunting him. Rapp got away with a travel there.
Winter from the top. Rebound BYU.
Winter cannot get it going from 3. 0 for 4 from the three-point line. Good split from Wright.
Saunders 3. He nails it.
Felt like he really needed that one for his confidence.
Boyd loses it out of bounds and a foul on BYU. That was just the second 3 of the day for Richie Saunders, who's 2 for 6 from downtown, but he is up to 16 for BYU.
There's the split in the handle from Rob Wright. And the last 3 misses for Richie Saunders, he's been visibly frustrated with himself, and he had to give himself that little fist bump. 16 for Saunders.
This was the 3rd foul against Dawson Baker. BYU's on a 9-0 run. And Boyd's free throw pops out to just his 3rd missed free throw of the year. Came in at 90%. Splits the pair. The deficit is 15 for the Badgers. BYU ranked 9th in this week's AP poll. Top 10 for a 3rd consecutive week, their longest streak since the 2010-2011 campaign. 10 to shoot. Right at the point. Dawson Baker draws a foul on the perimeter. He's crafty with the ball in his hands.
Every team in America could use a player like Dawson Baker. He doesn't demand any attention. He's not looking to get his shot. He just looks to make the right play. He's such an elite complement, superstar role player next to A.J. DiBanza, Richie Saunders, and Rob Wright.
3rd foul on Andrew Rohde. It was on the floor, a reset, right, wiggles, goes to the right. Underneath, Booth, tug of war. Bodies hit the deck, look at the fight.
And I love that by both teams.
And they get a standing ovation from this mostly BYU crowd.
Well, they're applauding for the freshman, Hadim Boop, who has brought an enormous amount of toughness and energy off the bench. Watch Boop fight for it. Rohde's in there as well. 2 hands, not going at it. Nothing intentionally fouling in that situation. Both players just playing hard. I absolutely love it.
BYU has 7 to shoot on the inbounds. Wright against Boyd, who's in foul trouble. Wright pulls up. Offensive rebound. Baker gets downhill. Jump pass for Russ. And Wisconsin claims it. Badgers pushing tempo. Boyd 1-on-3 to the cup, and he delivers.
It's so good. As Wisconsin continues to win, they're going to talk about Nick Boyd at a higher and higher level. He is effortless in transition.
Has 11 points. Came in averaging around 20. Saunders. Whistle. And a foul called on Wisconsin. Goes against Nolan Winter. That is his second personal.
There's Nick Boyd. That high pickup you see brings the ball up high from a bounce. That's a player development move called a high pickup. Eliminates that swipe, you know, from the help side defender.
He has scored 20 or more 3 times this season. He'd probably be around that number if it wasn't for the foul trouble. He's only played 19 minutes here today.
You think about how to describe his game. The most underappreciated part of his game is his defense. He's such a great defender. You know, if you go to San Diego State, you don't have a choice. You have to be an elite defender. But Nick Boyd has he's got a strength to his glide that it's usually one or the other.
Trailing 3, Boyd around and out. Boop has been fantastic in relief off the bench for BYU.
Throw it up.
Corner 3. Boop with the assist. Russ with the dagger 3. Largest lead of the day for the Cougars. Boyd bailed out by a whistle. Back to the BYU 3.
What a smart play by the freshman. He could have caught that alley-oop and tried to make an awkward turn to shoot it, which would have been a low percentage shot. But the presence of mind to come down with it and then kick it out to Russ. These are huge minutes for BYU's role players with DeBonsa on the bench, and they are exceeding expectations.
DeBonsa picked up his 4th foul. Just under 18 minutes on the clock in this second half. So he's been on the bench for a while, and the lead continues to swell for the Cougars. Boyd's free throw pops out, doesn't get the back end of the 1-and-1. Rob Wright at the controls. Wright. Congested area. Punched away. Boyd on the run for Wisconsin. Carrington snaps it over to Blackwell. Badgers 2 for 8 from downtown in the second half.
But a really good, clean look. Just can't seem to find any rhythm on the offensive end. Sometimes you're playing in those NBA arenas, huge arena, your depth perception is thrown off.
Third 3 for Richie Saunders. He's up to 20 points, and the lead is 20 for BYU.
I think we got an off-ball foul on Diamande after the 3 was made.
To end that 7-0 BYU run is an extended run of 16-4. Blackwell has missed 3 free throws in this game. Came in at 91% on the year. It was 21 of 23. And it's been that kind of day for the Badgers.
And they're a great. This is top 3 free throw shooting team in the country. We're an 84% free throw shooting team. And they're at just 63% in this game.
Boyd had it stripped. Diamande. BYU with numbers. Mike spots for a 3. And Rohde's there to catch the air ball. Lead pass, wrap, contact, offensive foul. 9th Wisconsin turnover, the 2nd on Rapp.
Diamande took that in the chest perfectly, but were his feet above the restricted circle? Yes, they were. For BYU, between Diamande and Boop, how about the energy and the effort plays that the Cougars get from those guys?
A textbook charge taken by Diamande. A.J. DeBonce's back on the floor with 4 fouls with under 8 to go. 3's off the mark from Morus, kept alive. Cougars have been relentless on the glass, out-rebounding Wisconsin by 5. This one being played at the Delta Center, home of the Jazz in Salt Lake City. Shot clock at 6. A.J. DeBonce spinning on Blackwell, gives it up. Saunders, an NBA range 3 is no problem. .23 points for Richie Saunders. 7 and change to go. Boyd powers it down and 1.
And I'd go every time with that. You take your open threes, but you've got to get into the paint. You've got to collapse the defense. If nothing's there, you kick out. But if you can attack, get to the rim, stop the clock, get to the free throw line, that's how you really extend this 7 minutes. Wisconsin can make this a long 7 minutes by getting in the charity stripe.
Our upcoming college basketball slate on NBC and Peacock. Minnesota, San Francisco, Penn State in action against Boston, and then Oklahoma and Marquette on the 28th. 19-point lead here for BYU. DeBonce draws a foul. That's going to go against John Blackwell. And for Blackwell, that's his 2nd.
And that's where BYU's offense has so much success, right? DeBonce is 6'9", and he can start at the 3-point line and just back you down, go into the mid-range. He can act as a passer. He can dribble it back out and act as the primary ball handler and pick and roll. You get a shorter defender on him, like he had with Blackwell. He's going to rise over top.
Free throw, the first points of this 2nd half for A.J. DeBonce. He is 13, 6 for 7 from the foul line, 6 rebounds. He's been money from the stripe. Came in at 65%. That was the only thing you could pick apart when it comes to his game on paper that he needed to improve on.
I think there were 2 things offensively, just that were obvious to me in terms of improvement. Was one with the free throw line. The other one was ball handling. Because there were times where I felt that his dribble was a little bit too high and it got shaky. But that's going to get fixed. That is all of us collectively nitpicking on his elite talent.
He's an elite scorer. He's a high-level defender. Foul was on Wisconsin over the back. It goes against Nolan Winter, and that is number 4. For one of the few bright spots today for the Badgers. That's his 6th career double-double, 12 points and 12 rebounds. And he just picked up number 4. Boskovic at the line for the Cougars. The Serbian getting his first action of the day. Rips the net.
And there's a lot of time for Wisconsin here, but you can't settle on just contested jumpers. I just think if you kept the formula simple and it was attack, attack, attack the paint as much as you can, you could start chipping away at this thing.
Blackwell into the paint. Rebound, got it around Blackwell, takes it away, and he lays it in. That is an easy one. 12 points for John Blackwell today. Saunders pulls off a screen. Headed to the line for a rare 4-point play.
And after going 0 for 7 from 3 against UConn, Richie Saunders rips his 5th 3 of the afternoon.
Misses the free throw. That was the 4th foul on Nick Boyd. of Wisconsin. Blackwell can't lay it in. We have been marching to the foul line on both ends.
And that's good for Wisconsin. But you can go the foul line as much as you possibly want. If you're not going to collect multiple stops in a row, you're just trading buckets.
Foul was on Diamande, his third. Blackwell continues to struggle from the line. He is 5 for 9. Now, you shot 80% from the foul line at UCF. How does a 90% free throw shooter go 5 for 9?
It happened.
5 for 10 now, Mike.
It happens. It does happen. It's not a perfect system. And if you're up there forcing yourself to try to make a free throw, you're going to miss the free throw. Your focus should be on your form, always and forever. You never go out there and just try and hope you make a shot. You have to shoot your form the same way that you know consistently goes in.
Boskovic, he draws a foul. Back to the line we go. BYU has carved out a massive lead, 81-58 with 5:55 to go. Boskovic delivers. Well, the NBA is on NBC and Peacock Monday nights. It's Peacock NBA Monday and Tuesdays in prime time. It's Coast to Coast Tuesday on NBC and on Peacock.
It's good to have Round Ball Rock back on the NBA games.
Phenomenal gift game. I saw the tweet. Got me fired up.
Thank you. I do my best.
All-American gift game.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Huge lead for BYU. Blackwell out on the perimeter. Double comes, dribbled it off his foot. He can't touch it, has to pick it up. It's a turnover. Number 10 on the Badgers.
Now, James, you can correct me if I'm wrong. And we've been talking a lot about how good BYU's offense has been. There's 5:37 left, and they've put up 83 points on Wisconsin. Wisconsin was an elite offensive team last year. They're going to be an elite offensive team this year, and there's still a lot of new pieces, and they're going to continue to figure it out. But BYU's defense is as good as it's been all season long. Perhaps this has been their best performance defensively.
Deep 24 minutes, has 14 points.
You know what I like? When he came back in the game after those 4 fouls, he didn't force anything. He had a nice kick out for an assist. When Richie Saunders hit the N1 3, he runs right over to him and celebrates with him. I know that may sound like an obvious thing, but you'd be surprised at how much NBA scouts pay attention to those little culture details.
He is the ultimate teammate. Boyd, step back top, it's a 3, barely grazes the rim, it was flat. Carrington tracks down the loose ball miss. And an illegal screen against Wisconsin.
Again, you can't go anywhere. The BYU, they're in the gaps. They're locking and holding on shooters. See, in the gap help. There's one. In the gap help, 2. Forces the illegal screen. It's very good defense from the Cougars.
Is that the biggest takeaway defensively, the help side rotations for BYU?
Well, I think also when you're able to contain Nick Boyd off of the bounce, you know you're playing great defense because it's really, really hard to do that. And for the most part, he's been held in check now. Boyd's made some incredibly tough shots in this game. He's got 14 points, but they've all been really difficult.
Bonsa going back to the stripe, draws a foul against Janicki. That is his 3rd. Bonsa continues to fill it up from the stripe. He's now 10 for 11. And it's another 8-0 run for BYU over the last minute 53. wins them both.
I mean, that's 18 points in 25 minutes of work. Very efficient.
Blackwell spinning to get Saunders. Loses the handle. Suffocating defense by the Cougars. The poise from DiBonsa. Hard pass underneath. DiBonsa slices. Wisconsin clears. They throw it away. Their 12th blunder.
Just out of sorts. Is that
minutes he's been on the floor. That was our last media timeout with BYU. 87-58. DiBonsa. A rebound Winter, who's posted his 6th career double-double here this afternoon. Wisconsin has been stymied this afternoon beyond the arc, just 5 for 26, 19%. And Winter will head to the line to shoot a pair. 3 popped out from Janicki. Wisconsin was averaging 12 made threes per game through 4 games coming into this one. Fouls against Saunders, and that is number 3 on Richie Saunders.
There's just an enormity of weapons for BYU. And I'm not just talking about the scoring of DiBonsa and Saunders. I mean, Rob Wright, it's 87-59. Wisconsin's going to continue to be a top 25 team in the country. And Rob Wright, BYU has this kind of lead, and Wright only has 7 points. He's got 7 rebounds, 9 assists, and only 2 turnovers. And sometimes that is the winning formula. It's not, Rob Wright's capable of giving you 17, 18. But you don't need to.
This is a very unselfish basketball team. Kostic 3 is off the mark, and a foul over the back called against BYU. Kostic has entered the game. That's his first.
And there were 2 guys in particular for BYU that I think were just a huge help, and that was freshman Hadim Boop and then Diamande as well, who just brought so much energy and effort rebounding the ball. They combined for 10 rebounds and 12 points.
Well, it's a Big Ten Saturday night doubleheader live on NBC and Peacock. First, it's Nebraska against Penn State, and then Washington taking on UCLA. It's tomorrow night on NBC and on Peacock. But what does this performance say most about BYU? Because, I mean, it's been complimentary basketball all the way around.
This is the team that we thought they were going to be. That a potential top 5 team, you know, with Final Four aspirations. If you're blowing out Wisconsin this early in the season, that's a pretty good sign. I would say this game, this performance, offensively and defensively, is a direct reflection of how good practice was after losing to UConn. As Kevin Young didn't go down and out and complain and whine and went to work. BYU, the players had a great couple of days leading up to practice, and they got Kata healthy as well.
Closing in on 2 minutes to go, 90-64.
You and I did not expect this at all.
No.
I mean, it's not that we didn't expect BYU to score 93 points at the Delta Center.
Back-to-back threes from Kostic.
You can expect that. It's how good they've been defensively.
This was a high-powered, efficient Wisconsin offense. It held them to 64 points, 36% shooting. Boyd, short, Kostic the rebound. 90 seconds to play. Rob Wright, if this game was somehow headed into overtime, he might hit a triple-double. He's got 7 points. He's got 7 rebounds. He has 11 assists. Stoppage play. Nick Boyd James hobbled, the Wisconsin guard. Finishes with 16, but he did not make a three. He was bothered by foul trouble, and it was a hard-earned 16 for Boyd here today.
Nick Boyd's going to be really good for Wisconsin. And he'll be one of the better point guards in the Big Ten this season. And I still think Wisconsin's backcourt is an extremely underappreciated backcourt nationally between Nick Boyd and John Blackwell. They'll get this figured out. Remember, a lot of new pieces. It's not the exact same team. You've got a ton of new faces and new roles for new players.
Wright has 10 points with that three. 10 points, 11 assists, 7 rebounds. .45 seconds to play here in Salt Lake City. A statement win for BYU. Carrington nails a triple. BYU cannot hold for the final possession. A ton of Power 4 matchups across the college basketball landscape. Featuring there's 3 games just today between Big 12 and Big 10 foes. Staten. McGregor dropped it off the table. A double-fisted dunk. Carrington's 3 at the horn is through. 98 points for BYU. They win it 98-.